Hello? I think we're okay now. Yeah, sometimes when I'm doing stuff, the Windows Explorer thing breaks. We back. We back. Thank you, Wumble. Okay. Weird.
Could have been Windows Explorer crashing, which is like a big Windows crash.
Oh.
So maybe just don't do any more of that until after stream.
Ooh.
I'm sorry.
It's just scaring me because it's starting to corrupt files.
Files are getting corrupted? As part of the transfer, or they're already corrupted?
I don't know. Double check it, BB. This is true. This is true.
Well,
that's why I'm gonna check the new drive before I touch any more of the old drive.
Yeah.
This one. Cause like I tried to open a file from this, and then it crashed Affinity, and then it crashed Windows Explorer.
That would do it. Okay.
Okay, so it looks like, look at this. I edited this, by the way, chat. Look at this. Isn't it cool? Wah, wah, wah.
Okay, so don't try to open anything, but like if you can move stuff, and start with the important stuff, most important stuff. But also, yeah, like this is why you're not supposed to run these drives as much as you did, because they're not built.
If I clean slate him, because I plan to move everything off of him, and then would that fix him?
No.
Oh, okay.
He just
He just.
Worn out. So right now it's just like get the important stuff off first, and then the less important stuff, and then we need to just be done with him. Okay.
Never ever again, ever. Even if I have to use him for something in the future.
I would never use him for anything that would upset you if you lost it.
Well, I meant like, oh, I have to transfer something for a little bit.
Move files between computers, like a copy of something, but he should never have anything that is only on him in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, because those kind of drives aren't meant to be run like 24/7. They'll wear out.
Okie dokie.
Only run when you're uploading to them. But if you're like running files off of them, like I also wouldn't run programs off of these.
Not the plan, so.
Yeah, just making sure you're aware. I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry that was so spicy because I was like, what the fuck's happening?
It's okay.
At first, because it's the same time that your stream normally would crash at the 5 o'clock problem.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. No, it was just, I think I just crashed Windows Explorer.
Yeah, so that's happened to me before. Sometimes it works on my whole computer.
I didn't know, break the whole computer. Usually I just restart it and it's fine. But.
Okay.
Thank you. Hi, Princess Buttercup. How you doing today? Sorry, I was talking to Pixels about this because moving files is scary, brother. My poor drive. This poor drive. I've had it since like fucking college. This guy. This poor guy. Oh, I have bow eyes. Bow eyes. I'm okay. Sorry you having pretty issues. Sorry, that's always a pain. It's okay. It's not so much my computer, more so as it is like I'm trying to move a lot of files from one drive to a new drive to a different drive, and it's a lot of drives. And that's the big thing. And let's see. I got most of my work done. I just need to record my scripts for today, so I think I'm just gonna focus on doing this, which may be a little boring, but the TISM says it's worth it. Let's go back this. Tokens. Yeah, okay, that's what I'm a little worried about, but 30 seconds. Cause this guy's still fat. This is oh my pencil went away. Cause this is the new one, but you can see he's already almost full. But that's not the plan. The plan is we gotta move a lot of this stuff off of here. Which, speaking of that, we go here. Move, replace. I could, like, I'm trying to plan if I want to maybe, like, play Minecraft while this loads so that way I could do something else while this does this, or play something else. So that way we're not staring at this the whole time. Or if I just, I don't think I want to record my scripts right now while this is doing its thing, because spicy. Is there anything in here I want to move? Work files. What is this? Oh, that's something else. That's gonna go in here. I actually don't know why that one's there. And then this is all other stuff. I wouldn't mind moving this here, because it's kind of like they're all backups. Okay, so that's gonna take a little bit. That one's almost done, so move that over there. This one can stay here for now. This one can stay here for now. This I think I want to move that. Where my to-do list? Where's my to-do list? That I'm gonna have to do after stream. This guy, new work. I'll move you in here. Do new folder. We're gonna call this art. Self-esteem. Where's art? There it is. One underscore work. And then 2 underscore art. I want to keep those there. I think. Let's go out here. Maybe I don't want to do it like this. Work art Minecraft. Okay, this one, and then work files. This I want to put in work files. Hold on. No, that's fine. Right? I'm gonna yeah. Those are fine. Yes, these can go in here, and then this can move here. Distracted, I can't have it. Oh, needy, greedy, love me. Okay, and then boop. I'll make all the icons pretty later. Oof. Okay. Skip. Okay, that's that. Work files. Oh, that's the Minecraft stuff. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. File texture. Yeah, I know what this is. This should go here. We take the wheel back from a heart attack. Fonts for templates and pictures too. That shouldn't be in here. Our young blood. And you like a remix. Delete that guy. I don't know what this is. By the way, for the transparent banners on Twitter, I heard it doesn't work on iOS, but does work everywhere else. Valid. It would bug me knowing that, like, other people want to be able to see what I see. What is this? I don't know what that is. Someone delete this? All to the beat for your heart. Young blood doesn't it feel? Time is running out. This goes in here. Thank you for the head pat. ZBrush. Whoa, this is for that was for Maya. What is this? Oh, this is this should go in tiled textures. We should also go in tiled textures. This is the painterly. Before it's begun. Substance resources. What is this one for? Pixel logic. This one is. Do I know how I have a ZBrush folder? I do have a ZBrush folder, but it's empty. Okay. This one. This one. ZBrush. Pencil brush. Who are you for? Oh, this is. Ooh. That's my pencil brush. Okay, that will stay there for now. HDR Skies Game Tree. I keep it, I guess. I'm gonna delete this one. What is this one? This is for Maya. And then this is a substance painter resource. This one is also I might keep that one there. These are affinity brushes. Patterns. What's in here? It's this one, but looks the same as this guy. That guy. Yeah, so that can go in there. What is this one? These are like alphas. These are alphas, so I'll do a new one called alphas. This is for ZBrush. And the Fibonacci sequence is a Fibonacci sequence, and we'll keep that like that. Oh, we should use the Fibonacci sequence for our background. Oh my god. Skip. Okay, I need the other one. This guy, video editing. Resources. I think these are like templates. Da Vinci. Actually, what did I call it? That okay. So this will be DaVinci templates. Or tools? I think tools might be better. Tools. Okay, there you go. Tools. Delete that one. I think I'll just put them there. I can delete this now because I don't need that. What is this? I don't know why I have that one there. And those recordings. I think all the resources. And then what icon did I give it? Properties, customize, change, browse. And this guy, okay, apply, okay. Refresh, perfect. I don't think I'm gonna need those ever again. Social icon, those are the old social media icons which I don't use. Backdrops is fine. Recordings is old. I don't think I'll be using those again. SpongeBob backdrops. I don't know why I didn't just put these all in one skip. Large icons. Symbols is fine. Talking is templates. Delete timelines. Horizontal, vertical. I think we can keep the rest of these FX fusion effects. Audio. Yeah, I think the rest of that is fine. Other DaVinci tools. Okie dokie. And then, yeah, I'm gonna start putting enshrined TikToks in there when we get to them. You go down just like Holy Mary. I should have commissions in here somewhere. My current ones, and then we'll do Ursa, Merida. That way we can keep this. And then I don't think... the rest of these are needed. I also think I can remove this guy. So that's all cleaned up. That's all cleaned up. That's fine. Alright, so do. Okay, now will you not be mad at me? I think so. What is this one? I think that was for this one. This one? No, what's it happening again? No! Go away, stop it. Oh! Okay. 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 No more touching that. No more touching that, Elaine. No, none of that. No more of that. Okay. I'll cry in the corner, I guess. Okay. I broke it again. But stream's okay. But I broke it again. What?
Aged cheddar and black pepper chips.
It tastes good. Just gonna sit here and wait till the thing fixes itself. tech fun fact. Don't mess with hard drives, even if it's to your streaming content. Does Explorer will be mad at you. Post. I see Ruby there, yeah. You asked me to do Ruby, so I did Ruby last week. So their video is gonna come out this week. I think that's the plan. I don't know why that's the plan. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna come. Their video is gonna come out on Thursday. Boop, 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 boop. Child, I'm gonna made Windows Explorer really angry. Yeah, I kind of made it. Eee! Okay, it's happy now. Okay, no more touching the drive. You know what? Eject it. Oh, don't eject it. Okay. We're gonna go between two different drives and not that one, because that one keeps making my computer mad. Archive this one. What do you think of her? I think she's very cool. I didn't know she was a writer. I think that's cool too. And I like her model a lot. I like the flexibility of her model. She should do like a flamingo trend. I could be red. I could be yellow. You know, that one. I could be pink. I don't remember that one, but the flamingo song? I remember pretty good. Thank you for getting that bean. What? I'm just gonna do that. Is there anything else that I need to organize on here? Minecraft never finished. Moving did it. World backups. Here tomorrow, so express do. I can't wait for our next video view. Fuck yeah. Same. 0.91, 8.91, yeah. Yeah, makes sense. And I saved them driving in the trees. Okay, that's not mad at me. Yeah, that'll be good. Cheapest. Okay, now I do want to clean up my stream folder though. Yes, guy. Except I can't edit this folder's icon because it'll be mad at me. Yep, okay. I'm gonna call this 2024, I think. I need to start moving stuff off of here. Yeah, I don't think I use any of these for this. C6 water green, I like vintage trends, it's just so low, I feel on my knees. That can stay there, animations can stay, chat icon can stay. Clean crayon is the one we're currently using with a mix of goshness. Luma key I don't think I ever really used, so I'm gonna put that in here. Main overlay was a test that never actually worked, but I'll keep it. I have another old? Why do I have 2 olds, bro? What do you mean I have 2 olds? What's in here? Icons? Bruh. Okay, we'll have to wait for that to move. I don't think I need any of this. I'll delete this. I don't know what year is this? Properties. It says 2025, but that's so not true. Properties. 2021, okay. Okay, so instead of making it say old, I'm just gonna put this on 2021. Because that would be faster. Bang band. Won't you riches in hand? Oh, that's stupid. I don't know why I'm doing that. As no one likes an opening band. That's fine. Written updates. Yup, world backups. This was dumb, so go away. I don't know what these are, so I'm also deleting these guys. I don't know what I'm gonna do because right now the server should be okay. On purpose. I'm gonna create a manual backup and I'll download it and then put it on this drive because that's what it's for. And then this one can be because I'm never gonna make a custom GUI. Discord section is fine. NBT Explorer. That should go here. And go away. Right? You're the only thing? Yeah, if it's old, it's old. If it's old, it's old. Properties. That's a usual suburban night. My brain is telling me something, but my brain's going, Okay. Just a sheltered kid. I'm not gonna say shit, and then I said it. Expansion. Stream. Overlay. Old 2024. Chat boxes. That can stay. Signs I don't use anymore. I'm pretty sure that was a 20. It's probably a 2025 thing on 2024 anyway. Stream music can stay. Tablet is definitely a 2024 thing that I don't use anymore. It feels weird in hindsight. I don't know why that's not in here. And I need to compare those two. These advanced masks. What the fuck is this? What is this one? That's taking a break. What is the difference between that taking a break and this taking a break? I think they're the same. I think they're the same. And I'm heading old fonts. And I'm getting old. Overlay new folder. I don't think I use these masks for anything. Masks, overlay. This is the throne button. It's chock full of stuff that is vaguely shitty. Yeah, the projector's different now. Okay. I think most of the stuff comes from there now. And I'm really fucking sorry. So I really need to combine these two, if I'm honest. At 2025. Okay, let's remove the stuff we don't use then. From Clean Crayon. Is this from Clean Crayon? It is from Clean Crayon. Most recent. Yeah, chat variants. Goshness. I don't use those ones. CD player. Old raw files. Don't think I need those. Those probably have to stay. These probably have to stay. Base bar. Ooh, I don't think I use that anymore. Box. What is this? This doesn't use these anymore. D&D. Yeah. Screen. Filters. Not that guy. Filters. Where does this mask come from? It should be screen mask. Overlay, clean crayons, screen mask. Okay. That way I can go in here. Because I have a feeling that these need to go in here. And then if I go back to hub, this one, check. Yeah, there we go. Search directory, water bottle, water, select folder, apply. Apply. If I go here, that's what this is for. Yo. Whoop, 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 whoop. Sorry. Check for missing file. Overlay. Charity, overlay assets. Studio mode over here. Nope, go away. Oh, is that that's in the screen. Epic Gamer. Where is it? Where is it? Wait, where did I put it? What? Who uses it? Okay. I guess I don't know who's gonna use it until I fucking grab it, huh? So I knew it was in here. But where? I could have sworn it was in the screen. It's not in there. It's not in there. Oh, there it is. There you go. Okay. BoobTube. Yeah, this guy's gotta go into clean crayon. I don't know if chat iPad is in here. It isn't in here. Motion start game. Parody icons. I want to go in here. And then we have timer. Timer. Hi Buster, how are you? Clean cray, select folder, apply. This one's gonna go here. Skip. Hey dude, how you doing? We're missing files, credit box, that's the only one. This was 2024. I don't want this anymore. Hi Rainer, welcome on in. Twitch panels. Just needs to go and stream Twitch panels. So I have like multiple things for Twitch panels. Twitch panels, we knew. 2025. Organizing them by year makes my brain happy. Stream. Twitch. Twitch panels. Hot take, Cards Against Humanity is kind of mid. Yeah, it kind of is. After you play it for a while, it kind of gets boring. Makes sense. Banner is fine. Collab promos is old now. Overlay Twitch stream. This will be... Or should I just call them thumbnails? I think I should call it thumbnails. Thumbnails. Yes, collab promos go here. Because if I do a new... I'll do a new one called collab. And then events is fine. Not used anymore. I know that, no. I'm so happy right now. What's up, Bundy? What happened? What happened? Yeah, it's season 2. Yeah. Games. Now it's better. My boyfriend and I are talking about each other's Christmas gifts. He's gonna try to wrap them and ship them to me so I can put them under my tree, and I'll do the same for me. He's gonna get a small tree for his place. Reminder, we live. Oh yeah, that's mega cute. That's what me and Pixels did when we were long distance. We sent each other Christmas presents and put them under the Christmas tree. But I'm very impatient, so I didn't want to do that, but I did it anyway. I'm gonna keep that there for now. This goes thumbnails. I think 2025 in here is okay. And that being like that is fine. I'm just gonna put these in here for now because I know I want to do things with them, but I don't want to do things with them right now. I'm just so happy because this isn't something he cares too much about. You know, he's a simple guy and we live New York. Damn, that is crazy. That's hella long distance. But I'm proud of you guys. It's nice to do things like that. It's the little things that count, you know? It's the little things that count. I don't think this is supposed to be here. Collabs. Media collabs. Media games. Media. Indeed. This should be... Oh, I have to redo that one. That's fine. We're going on 2.5 years. So cute. Yay. That's amazing. I'm so glad. You know me. I love love. I love love. I'll put this here. Media kit can stay there for now. Oh, game show can go in here now too. Game show is like separate, so I'm gonna put that like that. Oh, I guess I'll deal with that later. Thumbnails. TDS mascot tools. VTuber for VTuber rattle can go in here as well. Might take a second. References, my font, my pack overlay. Anyways, back to lurking while I fan fight grid. Ooh, have fun. Have fun. There's Discord, channel point, brands, archive inside of me, hello. Assets, merge, my font, my pack. I think those are fine. Overlay, I clean that up. Reactives is fine. References is fine. Schedule post, that's the next one. Schedule. Wait, not that one. Those all go there. Face my love, but don't face me. In my face, my love, but don't face me. How's my computer looking? Work files is looking really good. What else is in here? Contract work. That's empty now, which it should be. This one's gonna have to be moved. I'll move that later. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I kind of want to move the debugging stuff back over here, actually. Rush my heart, but say it's nothing. Hold me down. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. And then I think this can come back here. I don't know what that's about. Did this finish its update 12 minutes ago? Export. Okay. Okay, I'll let that do that. Alright, what do I got left? Sound is fine, this is fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. What about these? Stream Is this what I think it is? Twitter memes? It is. Which? Control C, delete. Social post. This one's, this one, this one, this one, this one's. Art resources. Art references. It should be these guys. This needs to go into stream thumbnails. Is that in here? Twitch events, Twitch stuff. Yeah, there we go. Let's go under it. That's fine. Drawing test, fat Kato, milk buds, PSD, the skill. What is all of this? I don't know what all of this is. Different pondering. Between me and this monster. Oh, this was the old. Okay. This was the old stream avatars stuff. This, I think, was a meme I did with a friend of mine. My swatches. I don't know what that is. I think that needs to go in art resources, though. Ah, furry versus bestial. I remember that. I can go there. This one and this one. And this is stream schedule. Oh right. Oh right. I remember making these. Ooh, I should go back to this at some point. And I wanted to make a fat cat VTuber model, but I like kind of forgot about it. Expansion, art. This can go here. Drawing test can go here. What is this one? Is this my 2.0? This was my 2.0 reference sheet. I don't think I need that anymore. Hold on. I am getting a phone call. I have to be right back. I have to go meet the person I'm cat sitting for, so I will be right back, chat. I'll be right back. I love you. I need to put this fucking key on something. Else I'm gonna forget.
You want to put it on a keyboard?
Yeah. Alright, I'm back. I also get to have a booster pack from the government. Also, I need to read the text. Okay. Oh, they texted me. I didn't realize. Oh, that's silly. Because they use AI to make the thing. They didn't fill in. Hey, if you have any questions, they didn't put their number. I already have their number, but it's like, oh, okay.
Like, that's problem solved.
Okie dokie. Okie dokie, chat. Okie dokie. Alright, I'm gonna put. I gotta put this key on something that's not gonna get confused with my other keys. There you go, that works. Alrighty, artichokes. The fuck am I doing now? Oh, I'm opening government booster packs, that's right. You gotta put a little fun pizzazz. Let's see. Government.
Nope, this is unemployment. Want me to translate?
No, you read that one the other day when I was like, Tee, is that a number? And you're like, this number? I'm like, no. I say number right for once. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, this is just a copy.
This is the old one. I told you, I went digital, but they're like, no, we're going to send you everything.
This is a different department. This is not the staff people. This is a different government agency.
We should really fix that. We should really make our government one government. Government of the people. It's just one department.
About France. See what you will about France, but whenever they decide their government's not good enough, they just start over. They're on, like, they're talking right now about starting their fake government.
Not a bad idea.
Say what you want, but like, they fuck with politics.
They do be fucking with the politics. I think that's everything for that. I feel like my bones are dying. Alright, new folder. Project. Okay, that one. Visions of me in LA. How long is this gonna take? Bam. Oh shit, fucking not that long. I don't know what this is. What is this for? Oh, this was for my character. That's right. Nothing should be using this. Same with this guy. What have you done? Was this put here by accident? I think I did that by accident. Shoes. This one's gonna take a hot second. I think this one can be deleted. That's old. I want to keep that, not that guy. It's gonna take a hot second, chat. Skybox. Who's in the bathroom outside the door? Milk? Milk bean? Milk? Milk? What is milk? What is milk? Am I proud? What's gonna cause a scene? What is milk? And God, what have you done? Oh, open scene. This is what I think it is, don't it? Oh, this is okay. Okay. Nope. Gotta reopen my milkclubmedia sign. What is shoe? Oh, these are the shoes I made. Okay. Shoes. Not this one. Okay. Actually, this needs to go into. Actually, I won't put that there yet. Art. And then we'll make a new one for this. Boom, 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 boom. View the mermaid shell. There we go. Open with affinity. This one, special dudes, plushy base. Got that. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know what this is. Textures. Maya. That one's still being moved. Skybox. I don't know if I use these anymore. I will move these here though. It's a skybox. Microphone example. Oops, fuck. I didn't mean to open another Maya instance. That's okay. Special dudes. Got that. Boom, 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 boom. And now I'm in her room. Where are these? Sway, show all. Okay, I don't know where those are. Don't save. Delete. Textures. I'm sharing extra logos. I do want to keep this though. Okay, I'll move those in a second then. Ref images. Where is it? This guy, this guy. Textures Maya. again and again, fall in love again and again, fall in love again and again. Red dress. That needs to go somewhere else. I say some mouse watches. Plushies, Unreal exports. Is this the final version? I'm gonna hope so. Art references. This needs to go into work. Here. What is this guy? I don't know what these are. I don't know if I want them. Love again and again. Fall in love again and again. Final version. This one? In love again. Cause renders, special dudes. New folder. Patient. Alright, is this the latest one? Yes, it is. Cool. Okay, that means I will move. I don't know what you're needed for. Poster, FBX, I don't think I need you. Version 1. Textures, furniture assets. Do I have one that says alphas? No, I don't. I'm gonna move that there. Call them alphas. Substance, texture, vegetation, styled. Oh, that needs to go. Actually, I think it can stay there. Alpha. Yeah, that's going in there. Revisited alpha. This one. Door alpha revisited alphas. And then is the fan art poster? Yeah, fan art's in here, which I don't like. This needs to go in here. I think this is the new face. So I'm gonna go. Nope, keep that there. I don't know what this is doing in here, so I'm gonna put this in here. Here forge, vegetation images, map, here reference skybox. First version. Make that more. And then take these guys, put them here. These guys come up here. Right now, Essential Dudes, first version. Is this the better one, or is this the better one? This one's the better one. I wish you come here. There we go. No, that one's all good. This PC. Work file says 1 terabyte free, which makes me happy. Expansion. I think the only thing that's taking up size on expansion now is just oop. Let's do the expansion. I don't need you, but I wish you come here. Cycle bin. Cycle bin. Huh. Yep, that's what I thought. Okay. Wanna say what you're sorry by the end of the night. Up in the morning, everything's alright. Yeah, okay. Customize, okay. Oh. Properties, customize, change icon, browse. Art, okay. Apply, okay. And then that's such as this is needle teedle. Which I'm gonna put this one here. School documents. I guess that could go there. This doesn't soup matter. This needs to go. Break time. How's your stuff going, Kiwi? I hope it's going well. I see here. Put in here. That's fine. And then video editing. Properties, customize, change icon, browse. Okay, apply, okay. Properties, customize, change icon. This is like work stuff. Okay, apply, okay. I got stuff set up and took some time to research, so I'll be writing once the break is over. Fuck yeah, I'm proud of you. Okay, apply, okay. I'm gonna go boost, Dungeons and Dragons, documents. I think this was all good. Should go in stream. Should go in work. Should go in art. Should go in stream. Stream. Cool. This should go in schedule. Art. This is an art reference. I'm also installed DaVinci. Well, if you need any help, let me know. Archive, other backups. editing. I kind of want to put VOD somewhere else. Is this gonna be a bitch? Nah. Okay, cool. Properties, customize, change, browse, file cabinet. Okay, apply. Okay. Refresh. Yeah, that all looks good. Documents, properties, change icon, browse. This one. I want one for school. That's not a bad school one. I like this one. Back. Nope. Download ICO. Downloads. Icon. Save. And then properties. Customize. Change icon. Browse. This one. Okay, I think that's good. That's good. I don't know if they have a dice. On the dice. Nope. Nope. I think the only dice that they have is a 6-sided die in this. I'm gonna do it this one. Save. Properties. Customize. Change icon. Browse. Beep. Okay, apply. Okay. Yeah, the only ones that won't have it are those two, which is fine. Okay, is there anything else that I want to move? Yes, there is. Okay, so are these? Let me close this guy so I can refresh him. There we go. Okay, so I want expansion to archive. Oh, nope. VODs. 2025. Start with January. Oh no, I did January already. Yeah. January's good. On your way out now. Should've just made it all one. I don't know why I didn't. That's okay. It's this one. Enshrined playlist. That should be in. Oh, there. Dungeons and Dragons. Ooh, I'm just gonna put that in here. So that would be better. Yeah, I could just use clips. I'm being silly. This one. Those all need to get moved over in a minute. Boop. And then I need to record. I still need to record stuff today, but that's like its own thing, I think. Trying to think, what else do I need to do? Ooh, go from here to here to here to these two to here. And then, let me see. I still have to do backup. Hold on. Teetle. AU. To archive. Can I look at that drive? I just want to look at it. I don't want to touch it. 3D to archive. 3D to archive? 3D to new drive. Right? That's what I decided? Yes. Well, 3D work though. 3D work to archive. Archive. And then enshrined to new drive. Art projects. To new drive. Dungeons and Dragons, new drive. Bearded TikToks. I don't know. I'm now writing the very sad chapters of my favorite. I love making people cry. Double click archive for dragging in the browser. Okay, I don't know about that. I think I'd rather clean download all these. Yes. Maybe? I don't really know. Oh, I have a not funny folder? Huh. Oh, I touched it. Fuck. Let's just cancel that. I'm just gonna let that sit. I'm just gonna close this. Okie dokie. Okay. And then favorite TikToks to... Except I want to move these. And it should just be videos to here. Well, to be fair, I probably should just move them all. Okay, so that's all good. I'm trying to think. That's being moved to this drive. Oh, goodness, okay. Come here. Come here. Come here. Bonds. So I'm gonna download that onto that. So this... It's not gonna be needed after that's done. So that's fine. And then the one that I do want to keep is this one. Pin to quick access. So replace this one. Ooh, that's the other thing I want to do with this. There we go. There we go. Elaine's brain is working. This one. Stream. VTubing assets. I have too many fucking assets in here. I will either remove them or I will keep them. Each is to be said. Okay. Accessories. I'll keep those guys. I don't think I'm gonna ever use these. Maybe? Food is fine, I guess. Oh, game show assets need to go in. Overlay. Where is it? In here. There we go. That can stay there. Delete this. Live borders can go in here. Muted icons will keep other assets. I don't know if I'll ever use these again. And I can look for them again. Pride hearts we can keep. Sound effects we can keep. Actually, we have that somewhere else. Sticky notes. I like these ones more. These are blankies. New folder blankets. But I really only use the one that I have because I like that one the most. I'm never gonna use this. Egg. Egg we can keep. Ball. Arm. There are so many things in here. My brain. Designer. These are the designer files, which I think I could put in here. Assets. Designer files. I think I'll just remove that. Same with this one. Boop, 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 boop. These don't need to be in here anymore. I don't know what that's gonna be for. What is this? Badges, sub-badges, icons. I think Twitch. Sub-badges by Mixels, I think is their name. Not Mixels. Yeah, not Mixels, okay. And then I'm going to go into expansion, stream, assets. I don't think I need these anymore. Badges. These are the old sub badges. I guess I'll put that there, and then sub badges. Badges. This is V1. Oh, V1. V2. Oop. Put those there. And then I might take these peanuts off because they're weird in my brain. This one can go here. This one can go here. This is empty now. Keep that there. Hand muted icon. Jukebox would be an overlay thing. Hi, Lord Dark Fluffs. Welcome on in. Thank you for the follow the other day. Hope you're doing well. I'm organizing files right now because I'm a goober. I think stream. Damn, Agile. No! No! Oh, okay, that's fine. Let's see. Yeah. Hey, Wombo. Assets, emotes, VTubing. Why? I'm so confused. Why I would do this like this? Because these should just be here. Skip. It's fine. Okay. And, okay, new thing. In stream. Overlay. Clean crayon. It should be in here. Membership cards. Thank you for the vibe check. I gotta head to bed. Thank you for being my workmate. Also, no was a Thank you, Wombo. I hope you sleep well. Thank you for working with me. I hope you have wonderful dreams. Have wonderful dreams, my friend. I gotta check for missing files again. I'm glad you guys enjoy me being a goober, because that's all I can be. Check for you didn't search in the directory that I asked you to do the searching, you goob. Apply. Okay. That's good. Okay. I will try. I believe in you. Assets. BLT blanky. Okay, that's fine, but I don't use that anymore. These are designer files, which I don't also use anymore. So this guy, go into archive. Wait. No. Yes. No. This goes in expansion. I have to rename that drive because it is confusing the shit out of me. Stream assets designer. Oh, there we go. Okay, delete. Controller. Okay, that's fair. Hat refs. Don't know what that is. Desk controller. Microphone. Elaine mic. Hat import design AF. Of course that's in there because I'm ooped. Touch. But she think it's too much with you. If her heart would break. Desk. Zip. I would stay to see it through. I like her, I wish she knew. This one's I see, okay. Think how pattern, live 2D assets. Cap, colorful lamb, drawing pens. Asset. I just don't want duplicates. Hello, Lord Dark Fluffs. I like your name, by the way. I don't think I'm gonna use that anymore. And I like her. Custom assets. Custom. I'll just call them custom. I'll do blanket. Because that makes more sense if I have like a custom one. Which is my controller, my microphone, this guy, and these glasses. Because these are all custom that were made by other people. Someone loves me. I think this should go here. I think emo should go there. This kind of doesn't make sense otherwise. This is a stream memory. I think I put that over here. Where did I put it? That goes here. Okay, cool. Okay, that still has that. Go. Custom. This can be removed. This can be removed. Pride heart, sticky notes, accessories. Begging you. Oh, I guess I just don't need the... eyebrow. I don't think I need this anymore. Because I want to call one, like I want to have a distinction between, like, like the archive of things that I grab from the internet versus the archive of things that I get from other stuff, I guess. Star pin, I think, is a live 2D asset. That's my hot dog stuff. My assets, hot dog. Okay, I have the hot dog stuff in there. All right, let me go here, and then we go to assets because I have so many. Okay, so if we go, stop it. Okay. So if we make a new one and we call it props. Props can be like hats, and then stop it. Go away, Microsoft Edge. Nobody likes you. Items. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. These are all items. Item. Trying to go with all items that I don't make. Stream. Overlay. Clean crayon. Water bottle. Ooh. Which is... I'm presuming that's the new one, so I'm gonna remove that one. Boo boo, love your loving, hand down, baby. Hat. Prop. Okay, hats, accessories. And then custom. I don't know what to call that one. Because dragon hat should also go in here. I don't know what this PSD is. I think those are just me drawing over it, so I have a high fidelity one. So I think these can be deleted. I'm just gonna make sure for this file though. Oh, this was the yeah, okay. That was just me taking a hat, a white hat, and fixing it. That's fine. That can be like that. Okay, items, props. Abraham Lincoln will go on props. I guess that this says custom. And these are personalized. So that can be the distinction between something that I commissioned. Maybe? I honestly think overlay. This desk should go here. Oops. This goes here. And then I have the desk there that can be personalized. Oh, nope. Okay, that's fine. Brain, PNG, heads. Outfit, hot dog. Robe. This one, hot dog suit. Actually, I kind of like those being there. I will put this... I want to put this somewhere else. But I'll deal with that later, I guess. Ow! Fuck, I hit my finger. Prompts. Food. Let's go. This guy go in Little Bros. Elemental overlay. Actually, the bros, yeah. Little Bros. miscellaneous collection, check for missing files, search directory. Apply. There we go. Check for missing files, search directory, stream, BCD emotes, select folder, apply. Okay, there we go. That's fixed. And then I don't really use a tablet anymore because I have the thing that I use. Why is this here? Oh, these are the... Okay, there's that. This is my crayon bow. I think that's fine. These can go in here. Other props. Boop. BLT. And then he has his hats. I think I just want to do the BLT prompts. A new folder, items. There's that. And then hats, main hats, birthday hat. I think I need like chonk hat. Chonk. Key hats. Because a lot of these are specified for the chonky head. Like this one. This one. Pumpkin head. Burrito. She a devil. Okay, that's fine. Hot dog, Jacob. I think Jacob can go here. Same with these guys, other props. That can stay. Stop it. I'll have to take care of that later. Pin to quick access. I can't tell what is new and what isn't because my file explorer is being dumb. Okay, this one. Oop. Stream this one, yes. And then that, streaming asset, that one's fine. Enshrined is good. What is in? Ooh, I actually have to check out through. These duplicates of one another? They are they're the same. Oh fuck, okay, I see. Okay. That makes sense to me. Archive this PC. And you're still big because you still have all the 2025 VODs. Yes, sirree. Okay. And then you font. Okay, wait, what did I say? Video characters. Okay. 3D work. Did I really put this in expansion? I did. What is this? I don't know what that is. I don't think that's needed. Yeah, I don't think I need to access this at any point, so you can go in there. dragons to the new drive. Favorite to the new drive. Okie dokie. And then this one, this one. This one might be fat. That one's not gonna be that fat. Comparatively. Alright, cool. This one is gonna take a second. That one's gonna take a second. This one I don't think should take too long. And then this is, yes, that's what I thought. Boop, boop. Cool. Oops. I don't know. I don't know if this one will be fat. This one will be fat. This one, probably not that big. So I can be more specific now. Okay. And that one to the new drive as well. Oh, it's taking actually longer than I thought it would. I guess I did download the directories and stuff on them. Forgot about that. Oops. Oh well, I'll be fine. It's almost all moved, and I'm very happy now. It's only 7, which is also good. Trying to think. Yeah, I think my brain is working out the way I want it to. Cause like, I'm like, I would, if I ever wanted to record my VTuber, I'd have to still be able to access my VTuber on here. But I think it'll be fine. I think we'll be good for dual streaming on that behalf. Is there anything else that I need to take care of today? I don't think so. I think I might put in. I don't know if I want to put issue requests in for the mod packs that I'm working for. The mod pack I'm working on. I could in fact do that. Let's download the thing. Boop. Not that one. This one. This one. World backups. This one. Minecraft world backup 11. No, 2024. 20. That's not the date. Okay. It's fine. File manager. Do we have the crash logs still? I don't know if we have those crash reports still. 22nd. This is the oldest one. Or the newest one. Mod load failure. Not that one. Server watchdog. Took a single tick. Server watchdog. Ooh, not that one. I don't. Well, does it say what the problem was with this one? No, it doesn't. Okay, so I don't know what that one was. What was this one? An arena. Description arena caught too many taking into a short period of time. Trace vicious tooth. Okay, well, vicious tooth did something, but I don't know what that means. I'm trying to see if I can find one of the crash logs for when it was like, uh-oh, I'm mad about the Naga segments. Okay, let's go to the oldest one then. Before last year has caught too many ticking entities, ticking threshold, gumworm segment, gumworm. Okay, maybe we should grab, I think I should grab this one and then download, and I'm gonna call this Minecraft. I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go debugging, folder crash, reports. Oh, this is the gum worm crash. That's that one. Can I find the one for the Naga segments though? Thursday. That's different. Can I find one for the Naga segment? Mod, refined storage, no. Issue, Narina. Taking entity, consumption threshold, taking entity, vicious tooth. Vicious tooth, I don't think it's that one. 22nd again. Because if I can't find a crash log for this, I don't know if I can open a thread to ask for it to ask for fixes. And that's kind of sucky. Narina's caught taking this is very wrong. Government too many ticking entities. Overworld. I hope it's ticking okay right now though. Stat trace details the vicious tooth. Shit, I might not have a Naga one anymore. Last night. No. What about in the backups? Can I access these backups? I cannot. Okay, that's fine. How can we have a gumworm one but not a Naga one? There's no way. Naga server, that's the second, third. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could. The only other thing I can think of is just showing that Marina's mad about it, but the thing is, whoa, okay, there's two things I'm gonna do. Access case, we're gonna go to issues, we're gonna see if there's any gumworm issues, gumworm. Disconnection gumworm bug. What is this one? Gumworm freezing. Gumworm freezing. Freezes. Second tooth got the distance away. They also led to freak out at the pricing underwater. TPS. This is very true. I know that's super fun. I'm not sure why this one's like a bug. New issue, I guess. Oh. Continue with maincoow. Oh, this is gonna be such a baby thing. I don't even know how to. Maincoow. Continue, I guess. Okay, can you send me back? Okay, new bug report. Bug, gumworm ticking entity issue. Here's encountering or get near the spawn of a gum worm is to crash not only the player but the entire server. I'm sort of new to creating mod packs. See everything, but most other aspects of the mod pack unsmooth, just not the gum worm. I'm wondering if there is a fix, or possibly if this is just with segmented entities as a whole, since this also seemed occur with the Naga, but to a lesser degree. Alex's K versions and Citadel version, which I'll grab that. And then we're gonna grab the bug report, debugging crash reports. This doesn't have Naga in it, does it? Nope. Okay, cool. This one, keep editing. Boop. Oh my god, this is not what I wanted to scroll through. This is the game log crash report, and then we want to know what version. Alex, as this case on 2.20 versions. 2.02, 2.02, 2, and the Citadel version is 2.6.2. Any Alex mod. Okay, we're gonna put that there. Is there something else I'm missing? Oh. I see. Boop. This is a conflict of the I have removed Optifine. Odd list found here. How many mods do we have? 487. Granomo. Ah, I see. Okay. Blood magic. This is a magic mod. Relics. I say this is also magic, and arena is optimization. column. Milk Club. Hide this one. I delete this one. Okay. Delete. Okay. Club. Minecraft. So we can hide. Then we can hide this sheet as well. I just realized I could bring my autism to a level 5. I just had an idea. Okay, let me fix that in a second then. Mods. Sort A to Z, sort A to Z. Okie dokie, underlay. Presuming works? Do we still have underlays? We do. Okay, cool. And then full-tism, yes. Insert image in cell. Oh, no. Insert. We want to insert a chart. I love taking my tism a step further. Insert column to the right. These are going to be server debugging list. Perfect. Edit chart. Column chart. What chart do I like? I guess a bar chart's fine. I think I want... Oh wait, no, that's not that one. This one. Okay. Delete selected rows. Oh. This one. There you go. Oops, my flow got into my brother putting up pics. Oh, I mean, that's okay. That's not a bad thing. That's a cute thing. I don't think that's a bad thing to get interrupted with, honestly. I don't think. I'm just gonna make this like this. Or actually. Requested mods, and then this one. Insert column to the right. This one. She took him in the playground since she's off this week. Very cute. I hope the baby is having a wonderful day. Server debugging list. Max I can have is 20. The max I can deal with is 20 items at a time. I'll do more than that and I will probably shit my pants. Okay, and then server debug list, gum worm, causing crash, TPS error. This one, fixed, or status, removed from world. I shared in your DMs. Baby! Oh, he looks so happy to be outside! Oh, baby looks so happy to be outside. That's so good. Naga causing TPS error. Can't kill. Status removed from. Okay. Little baby going to the park. we go. Mytism is being satiated. Okay. Is there anything else? Because essentially I want to remove needing to use this guy. Requested mods. I think we're just gonna remove this guy. Requested mods. Requested mods. Current players. Why aren't these all the same fonts? Gonna piss me off. Boop. Server debugging list, and then this. Ooh. This is going to be. Boop, boop. This is going to be debug notes. I need this all to be like left. So this one to be centered. Okay. Okay, I did that. I did that. I did that. Okay. Remove ability to force load open chunks, because that's not good for the server. Status whip possible scenes. Other nodes. Different seeds. Let's try. About noise and sing your whiskey and rye. Spawn location. Oh my god, that's gonna piss me off too. Boop. Spawn. There we go, and then dimension NBT. So I don't know other ones for now. Update log. I'll combine this into one. My American pie. Homeboys and drinking whiskey and wine. That I die. Oh. Okay. Nope. Pog. Ha 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 ha! All my information is in one area for Minecraft! Yes! I'm so happy now. Okay. Share. Anyone with like can be a commenter, copy. Alright, there's one here. Minecraft Excel sheet. And then hyperlink it to this. And then I'm gonna go to Twilight Forest. I'm gonna make a very similar crash log or issue complaint. Oh god. Add title Naga TPS issue. Can't kill. What version of Neo4j are you running? 47.4.7, 47.4.4. 4.0 Twilight version. Twilight 4.3.2508. Client log, a gist link that's gonna be found. Crash point if applicable. Steps to reproduce a detailed list of the bug encountered. If the bug immediately asks for information how to replicate it. One, go to Twilight Forest. 2, go find Naga TPS error crashes server. Player stuck in crash loop. Player has to be TP'd out in order for not to crash. Server, what you expect. I'll go to run fine, not lag. What happened instead? Server lags. Had to remove entity from world entirely. Additional details. I was wondering if there's a fix. This also happens. The Naga from Twilight Forest. And this is how to occur with the gum worm Alex's mom to a more severe degree. Can have a pack without Twilight Forest. Further, this book confuses without using also, and I have confirmed you. I don't have a crash log of it though. I don't have a crash log, but I do log of the specific Naga breaking that I gone one has the exact same verbiage, just says gum worm instead. I guess I could make one myself, actually. Create. The Naga. Okay, so I can't post this issue yet because I'd prefer to have a crash log with it. I don't have a crash log on hand at the moment, but I gave me a ticking error, which was only paused, which was frozen by Narina. However, but my only solution at the moment is Narina ticking entity along with entity entirely from the world, which the naga is so integral. Okay, maybe this will help? I don't know. I don't know, chat, but we're gonna hope and pray that that helps. Let me check something. Looks like everything goes okay. Look at me, I made fucking issue requests. That's how much I care about our Minecraft server. Look at my little Tism page. It has everything. The different seeds that we bought, the spawn, the NBT for the dimension, all current player names in case I break it again.
Look at you.
It's all in one. And this is, I even have a debugging list. Do I have any other?
Very nice.
Oh, sleepy baby. I love how she holds her feet. And if she doesn't hold her feet because she's laying with us, she makes me hold her feet. Okay, so hopefully that's all good now. Do I have most of the things all moved over now? What am I doing? Oh, this. Did I not move you? I thought I moved you. Oh, you're a fat boy. Oh, you move so quickly, though. What the fuck? Did you? Is that a lie? Did you lie to me? Did you lie to me? Did you lie to me, Drives? I feel lied to. Why do I have to go to the bathroom so much? I have to go to the bathroom again. It's like every fucking hour. As Pixel blows a kiss to me like he knows this was gonna happen. But I have caffeine every week. What kind of caffeine makes you not want to go pee? That's the real question. Archive. Nope, this one. This one. Is it lying to me? Why are you not moving? I copy and paste it? I don't understand. Hello? Do I need to make a new thing? Okay, maybe the folder itself is just mad at me, I guess? I don't know. I don't know why this is so mad at me. Yeah, okay. It doesn't want to do multiple at a time. Just wants to do one at a time. All right, we'll do one at a time, computer. Computer's like, Hey, what new chaos are you creating? I'm creating chaos between hard drives. I'm moving one thing to another thing, and it's being mad at me because it only wants me to move one folder at a time. Don't you be dumb. Don't you be dumb. Dude, I have to go to the bathroom. Don't you fucking be dumb, bro. Bunny is so sweet, sweet, sweet. About to piss me off, chat. About curse stomp. Oh shit! Yeah, don't forget your extra check-ins. Alright, I gotta go to the restroom. I'll be right back. Skip it, motherfucker. In the sanctuary. I'm the only one right now. The power, more than gold. Your heart, now I'm here. Oh damn, it's gonna take a while because those were fancy boys. What about this one? Into the choir. Can I get the mic a little higher? Do I need this? Don't want to need it, but I'll move it over anyway. Gee, you can look away. Okay, I'll wait for that. That's good. This needs to get unpinned. Why that says. Your vengeance. I wonder if... Actually, do they have one that's just a bow? To the choir. Can I get the mic a little higher? Alright, chat, if you see a bow, you gotta tell me that there's a bow on screen. It's a purse. That's a cow. That's a sword. Bow. We want a bow. Such a pumpkin. There's gotta be a bow. Right? Living in your mind now. No, they cause your mind now. Oh, bow. Ew. Ew. Ribbon, maybe? Found it. Serotonin icon, save. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Okay, apply, okay. Pin. Pin. Hold me in your arms tonight. Ooh, you got a beanbox. You got a beanbox. Enjoy your beanbox. Alright, we're really close to just being able to record for today, and I think that's what I want to do. Dakota shirt and tie, Lloyd. Bow ties are cool. Bow ties are cool. On certain people, though. Not everyone, I'd say. Fonts 2025. Yeah, I might as well just start pushing this guy over here. Yeah, that's what I expect. Okay, cool. Alrighty. Time to start recording voiceovers. I think it's time for that. I didn't say that you could go there, bruh. I need another instanceable wish. Yep. Launch anyway. Hold me in your arms tonight. Bow, 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 bow. Uh-oh. Did I break something? Uh-oh. Okay, no, we're good. Okay. Just gotta wait. Just don't touch anything and wait, Delane. Maybe it doesn't want me to record my voiceovers right now. I have a feeling it doesn't want me to record my voiceovers right now. Okay. Just needed a second. Are you mirroring your disk drive? Just cleaning it up morely. I'm not really mirroring it, more as I'm just moving stuff around. Apply scene collection. Check for missing, because that's gonna piss me off. Stream Elemento, because I got a new drive, and as a content creator, I have to have a lot for some fucking reason. Appreciate light spin. Search directory. Where did I put? Is that not in here? See, you just had to work for a little harder for a moment. This is true. Where the fuck is the pre-stream thing? Is that not an overlay? Huh? Oh, it's right here. Is that an overlay? It's not folder. Search directory. Infinite lanes. Nope. Select folder. No. My brain. Hi, Andrea. How are you? Oh, come on in. Okay. Recording studio. I live two lives, try to play both sides. Can you run vBridger stand or without Steam? Yeah, that's my question. I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. I'm good, vibing right now. How are you? I'm good. My brain is thinking. I'm trying to think because yeah, I think that makes sense. Hell yeah. Hey y'all, I'm about to do it. And if you do this next if you watch I stream, you're welcome. Okay, cool. That information is very important for my little tiny baby brain to know. And with that information, I'm going to go here. Oh, I forgot. Hold on. No more hiding, I'll be shining like I'm born to be. Because we're not switching this over for a little bit. We're going up, it's our moment. Hi, Norman. How you doing? Welcome on in. Oh, up with our voices. Ah. Thank you for the wellness check. Let me drink some water. Okay. My brain is doing the brain thing. I know, right? Me right now. Understandable. I'm no face, no eyes, it's who we're born to be. vBridger open. And then I want VTube Studio this one. But I want it to be this one open. And then if I went here, start no Steam bat. Put that there as a reminder. It should still work. I think it should still work okay. Easy to claim. What the fuck? VTube Studio. No, okay. Alright, I'm gonna leave that there so I know that for a fact. Because I'd have to remove vBridger from that to this. Wait, The lane brain's working really hard to figure out how to do this. Yeah, or I could just record them offline. It's kind of like either or at that point, you know. I think I should do them on stream because when I do them on stream, I do them better. Okay, well, I'll think about all that later. Okay. What I gotta think about right now is duplicating this tab, taking you, going to resources, going to video segments, making sure all clean. I don't know what these are, so I'm gonna move them. And then going to this. Dun 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 dun. Alright, and then getting ready to record scripts. And then making sure that everything is not lagging. Yeah. I'm just curious. I'm curious about something. Turn this off, turn this back on. I'm just curious. Cause I can't have one, I can't have both. Hold on. I have to hide my screens really quick. Yep, okay, we're good. 19.146. Okay, cool. Oops, oops. Yeah, Thursday would be like the perfect day, even though it's Thanksgiving. It'd be a good day to test my stuff if dual PC streaming works, because that's a good tester right there. Position, recording position. Okay. Oh, you guys can have the screens back. You can turn the mini off though. There you go. Okay, now this one, this guy goes over here. I think we're good now. Only thing I gotta do is recenter this guy. And then okay. Alright, I guess we can just test it. Oh, wrong button. This self-made siren VTuber is here to laugh, game, draw, rig, mix, and even have a little cry now and again. Ray, who is as a tomboy as they are talented, invites us to follow along. Ray, who is as tomboy as they are talented, invites us to follow along in their chaotic but ever amusing journey. Ray's lovely voice when they sing isn't the only thing captivating us. From their hilarious moments to their just downright cozy nature when they stream their from their hilarious moments to their just downright cozy nature when they're vibing. From the hilarious moments to their just downright cozy. Okay, we'll just see if that line worked. We'll just see if that looks good, and then we'll go from there. All right. I can close this. So don't mind me, but I'm just enjoying the joke. Valid. Yeah, I didn't move these. Did you know? Roll for fun. Stinger, V highlight, vibe and shine. This needs to be 47. Mind slowly breaking. Am tired, am hungry, but sugars are high. I want to play games, but am too bored. What does your soul want you to do? What you do when that happens? whatever your soul wants to do in that immediate moment is what you do. If you want to go take a nap, go take a nap. If you want to eat something, eat something. Gotta get this be some green tea. Green tea would be good. V highlight. Like a breath, I don't want you to lose your breath. We're being friends. We just shared a bed. Okay, this makes sense. Okay. Video editing, resources, social media icons, select folder. What? I want a chocolate donut and possibly some Kingdom 2 Crowns games. Doesn't sound too bad to me. Why don't you do that then? Oh, shit. Shit. Do I have that in my recycle bin? Social media icons, social icons, social icons. If it wants to work. TikTok, Ko-fi, Frame. What was this one? I don't know what some of those were. Hey, it's okay to give in to things like that, you know? Sometimes you just go to, or you can find a middle ground. Like, maybe instead of a chocolate donut, you can just get those games, and then you get to play them, because you get to play them for a long time. Or, instead of a chocolate donut, maybe you can get one game, and then have a sweet treat that you already have in the house. Restore. There you go. That is so confusing that I did that. Okay, video editing, resources, social icons. Which ones don't I need? I have them all in here. Flip options, replace. Patreon is fine. Let's do. I hate that it does that. Other. I already have the game. I play a lot. You should totally like look at it. It's a cute game. I will look at it. Ooh, this does look cute. Let me just. I shall indulge for one donut tonight as I'm not in the mood to cook. Yeah! Good middle ground. This does look cool. What is this game about? Gather coins, build defenses, and reclaim your fallen kingdom. Explore and uncover secrets. Unlock new technologies. Ooh. Does DoorDash do midnight ride? It depends if the place is open. This looks cool. That looks cool. I didn't mean to close the Vinky. But I don't need Discord. I don't need Twitch. I don't need this one because I don't like using that one. Why is the Twitch handle in here? I shouldn't be in there. Be highlight. I have bonks. I can spell it, I promise. It's okay. Hypoverages, relink. They are in social media icons. Oh, they're this one. Stop. Stuff's being dumb. Select folder. Relink. Okay, TikTok. Clip operations replace. This one. Ko-fi. They don't have a blue sky one, right? Yeah, no, they don't. Okay, cool. Cool. Say project as Ray Sirena. Okay, now I gotta see how the first half of that went. Okay, thank you. That was very scary. Okay, there we go. My brain is thinking. That's going there. That's going there. Yeah, none of this should be a problem. Okay, well, we'll just be careful. Yeah, we'll just be careful. Okay, cool. So I'm like, is there anything I can optimize so that way this doesn't happen? But I think I just gotta be careful. That's not bad. That's not bad yet. I think this is the correct one. Okay, no, we're good. That's a good recording position. Okay, cool. From their hilarious moments to their just downright cozy nature when they're vibing, it's addictingly comforting in their streams. Speaking of their streams, you can often find them on Twitch hanging out with their chat, creating a welcoming space, or singing to their heart's content. Ray will also entertain by playing games here and there when it strikes their fancy. Otherwise, you can pull up a comfy seat and enjoy the good vibes that Ray always provides. If you find a muse in Ray, just as I have, if you find a muse in Ray, just like I have when my community showed her to me, then if you find a muse in Ray, just as I have when my community showed them to me, then you should definitely check them out on their socials. Okay. Hopefully that was good. And also, I didn't fucking move. I didn't move it. Cause I'm a goober. Fuck, double fuck. Oh, no wonder. Fucking I have so many things open. Relink it. So I forgot to move it. Yeah, go up. Hello? I can't see the things. My heart is cold enough. I gotta wait for it to load. Star, down, deep down. Okay, take me to the beach. Okay, there. Okay. Oh, wrong one. This one. Hey, Gigolo. Pog. There you go. Boop. Boop. And now I need the name. Boop. Boop, boop. Okay, so... Alright, now I go back here. Did I? Okay, yeah, just save. V-highlight. Alright, how about this guy? You all good? Oh, because their nameplate is gone. Fuck. Skip. Okay. Oh. V-highlight. Oh. Relink. Choco done it acquired. Yum yum yum. I hope it's everything you wanted and more. Alright, so this one. This one, export. I am a little confused, but I think I understand. Clip our operations replace V stars. This one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I think that's good now. And then file, say project is. And zany pop. And then I'm just gonna scoot this over prematurely. If it lets me, of course. Close, because we don't need that anymore. Okay, don't know why that's unhappy, but that's okay. Okay, that's fine. We can start recording it then. Zany won't only give you a taste of trolling, but also the sweetest hit of pop if you hang out and vibe with our tastiest VTuber around. This pop VTuber's hair is made entirely out of soda, but don't just go around trying to drink some up without their permission. If you're wondering what it tastes like, then, well, I guess you're gonna have to pop over to their stream to find out. Popping on over to Twitch, Zany often streams a variety of games, karaoke segments, and just hanging out with their soda sweet community. If you can't get enough of them when they're live, then you can also catch their content here on TikTok as they upload skits, clips, and even covers of songs that they enjoy. So if you're looking for a content creator to put that pep back in your stepsy, definitely send your love to Zany if you're looking for a content creator to put that pep back in your stepsy. This adorable taste of zany will get you hyped up, so use that energy to head on over to their socials and be sweet to them, and they're fantastic artists as well. Thank you. Oh, J-Wog Hunter 1, thank you for the check-in. Welcome on in. Gas random project. I remembered for myself, I was thinking of making a Minecraft research pack that looks like Kingdom 2 Crowns. That would be cool. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. I will say, making custom resource packs is a lot of work. I was thinking of making one for just the GUI. The GUI of Minecraft. That shit hard. I'm gonna tell you what, that shit hard. I don't know why DaVinci's crashing. It's fine, I guess. As long as the rest of it doesn't crash, I guess. I don't know what's happening with Affinity. Why are you so mad, Affinity? Or not Affinity Resolve. Why are you so mad? Oh, it's because disk stuff is happening. That makes more sense. Makes a lot of sense. Let's pause you then. Pause you. Alright, we'll wait for that other one to pause and then we'll do it. A lot of work, yes. I tried making an updated resource pack for one of my favorite outdated packs, but I felt... but I gave up when it came to making new textures because I feel like I couldn't capture this. That's fair. Hey, you could make a TikTok series out of that. People would love that if you did that. Hi, Moon. Welcome on in. But yeah, no, if you made like a TikTok series on that, I would probably blow the fuck up if I'm honest. Pausing. It says it's pausing. It says it's pausing. Are you paused or are you just like cucking me here? I feel a little cucked here. Oh, you stopped that. Are you okay? It says it's pausing. So it's probably gonna finish the one that it's on and then pause, I'm presuming. Okay, and then I'm gonna hope that the rest of my computer's fine now that I paused it. Hi, welcome on in. Possibly. Making more content always helps to get more consistency and views. That's why I make TikToks every day. Cool, it paused. DUI, no, how about you die? Go 100 miles an hour. Little did you know I'm built up on cash. I'm afraid you update this. Override the fuck with my Persian truck. Little luck. Bro, this is taking forever to load. Cool. I took fall damage in the stairwell the other day. Yikes! Are you okay? I hope you're okay. Okay, let's do clip operations replace. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah. Oop. Link clips. This can be higher. I don't know why that's so low. I'm still walking. Hey, that's good. That is good indeed. Okay, let's see. Okay. This needs to be removed. kind of want that little bit of space. I think this is a sentence. Hoping that's a sentence. Boop. Oh, I'm like quiet, bruh. I'm so quiet in this. Thank you for the wellness check. Okay, let me make sure that I did all that right. I think I say pop too much, so we can remove that line. And then I'm going to remove that bit, and I'm just going to scoot it over so that way we can get the intro in here. 'Cause it's only 8. It's only 8. It's not that late. So I can get this done. Okay. It's a little loud. -5 maybe? What if it was like this? Okay, and then I might boost this up 3 maybe? Thank you for the head pats. I didn't write the names down of their artists or anything, cause I'm a goober and I forgot, cause that's a new thing that I'm doing. Replace. Ugh, I can't believe I forgot. I think it's this one. And clip operations replaced to this one. Whoops. Clip operations replace this one. So now I gotta go, I think here. This person. My ship. Beep 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 beep. And then the other person, which is named something that I don't remember because I'm very smart. Zany. Oh, wait. Did it say it there? F2D art rigging. Wait, is it different? Oh, no. Oh, no. Zany. Oh, main model. Oh, I got the rigging wrong. Okay. But I got the artist correct. That's an easy fix. Okay. Oopsies. Save images. V-stars. Zany, this one, save. Clip operations replace. Boop. Okay. I realize that if I made this bigger, it would tell me. It wouldn't tell me because I'm ooped. Now it'll be good. Cool. Save. Okay, Zanies is done. What are you doing? What are you doing, VTube Studio? See you in the background. You can't fool me. V stars. Oh, I recorded the same outfit. Okay, well, I didn't mean to do that, but it's okay because we'll fix it for this one. Fit, reality weaver, boom. Boop, boop, boop. Actually, boop, boop. Boop, boop. No, boop, 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 boop. Oh, I didn't think about it. Never mind. We'll keep it. We'll keep it. We'll keep it like this. I'll do it without the eyeglasses though. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Close. This one. This one. This one. Okay. Carrots are a government psyop. They won't give you better eyesight, they won't turn you orange, and they won't even help you look like a unicorn. But they will trick your enemy into believing that's how you shot down over 19 planes in the cover of night back in World War II. What the heck am I talking about, you may be asking? What the heck am I talking about, you may be asking? Well, during World War II, when Britain had recently started using aircraft interception radars, also known as AI radars, they wanted to keep it on the down low from Germany. Restart. Well, during World War II, when Britain had recently started using aircraft interception radars, also known as AI radars, they wanted to keep it on the down low from Germany. So, in order to act as subterfuge, they publicized that the reason that their pilots were better at tracking enemy planes was due to them. So, in order to act as subterfuge, they publicized that the reason that their pilots were better at tracking enemy planes was due to eating an excess of carrots. However, this is a complete bucket of horse poop because while carrots are good for you, they won't help your eyesight significantly unless you're deficient in vitamin A. So before chomping down on the carrot, maybe take a second to wonder what else is a psyop. But for now, I'm going to go get rich and buy some coal and make it into diamonds. So before chomping down on that carrot, maybe take a second to wonder what else could be a psyop. But for now, I'm going to go get rich and buy some coal and make it into diamonds. Okay. Hopefully that was good. Files, save project as. Did you know? What number is this? 26. I burp. Link clips. Boop. Link clips. Oop, hold on. Should be lower. Okay, and I'm gonna bump this up 3. Wait, what? Did I say that funny? Did I say that funny? I probably did. Hold on, what? What the fuck? Okay, I might do that differently. But for now... Oh, okay, no, I fixed it later. I'm so quiet. Maybe it should be 5. Oops. Oops. Okay, let me empty these. Remove these gaps really quick. Okay, so I think it would be this end piece. Okay, that's good. Ooh, 56. Yikes. Oh, wait. 49's not the worst. I can be okay with that. Actually, I'm a goober. I think I might remove that line, so it might be like... Say... If I did that... I'm gonna try to get some sleep early for once. Love y'all. Good night, Moon. Thank you for stopping by. What? Okay, maybe this part instead. Thank you for the hug. Okay, I like that, but... Is it this? Okay, what about this? Oops. Ugh. about that. Maybe that's better. So maybe don't believe everything you hear on the news. But, so for now, maybe don't. I don't like that ending, because I kind of say the same thing in the last video. So for now, maybe don't go listening to all of that propaganda that you hear on the radio. Instead, let's go get rich by buying some coal. Okay. So for now, maybe don't go listening to all that propaganda that you hear on the radio. And instead, let's go get rich by buying some coal and making it into diamonds. Wait, no, I'm fucking... So maybe for now, maybe don't go listening to all that radio nonsense. So for now, maybe don't go listening to all that propaganda that you hear on the radio. And instead, let's go get rich by buying some coal and making it into diamonds. Okay, maybe that'll be better. Link clips, this one. Cool. Cool. Couple more. Couple more. Okay. He doesn't want to respond. Okay. I do not know why. Is it because of you? It might be because of that. What? I don't think it's gonna continue it, but that's okay. 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 Battle, build, and conquer your way to a saga worthy of Odin's patronage. Battle, build, and conquer your way to a saga worthy of Odin's patronage in Valheim, a brutal exploration and survival game. Play Valheim solo or with a small village up to 9 friends in this procedurally generated world inspired by Norse mythology. Explore a world shrouded in mystery, discover distinct environments with unique enemies to battle, resources to gather, and secrets to uncover. Be a Viking, sail the open seas in search of lands unknown, and fight bloodthirsty monsters. Raise Viking Raise Viking longhouses and build bases that offer reprieve from dangers ahead. Customize buildings both inside and out with a detailed building system. Progress through building tiers to upgrade, expand, and defend your base. You probably saw this game as it exploded over on Twitch and YouTube, but I recently got around to playing it, and all I gotta say is that for $20, you better be grabbing this and friends this winter break for some fun times. Da Vinci, are you okay now? No, okay. Why is my computer mad at me? Why is Da Vinci mad at me specifically? No reason. No reason. I understand. It's for no fucking reason. Ugh. I don't want to record the last one without fixing this one. Oh, would you please give me dignity? Would you please give me some decency? Full time for I'm gonna close this and keep this one open, honestly. Da Vinci, do you want to save? Maybe. Okay, maybe not. Oh, wait, no. I need to go to Squisho mode now. For Vibe and Shine, because Vibe and Shine will be good. Recording. Oh. Oh, maybe tomorrow. You're 7 out of 8, though. Okay. Do you need therapy? Well, I think everybody could use some therapy at some point in their life, but maybe it's too expensive. That's where the therapy sword comes in handy. But maybe it's too expensive. That's where this But maybe it's too expensive. That's where this therapy sword comes in handy. Just swing your worries away. Just swing your worries away. I know I'd love one because I'm very trauma riddled. Speaking of riddled, or riddles, do you think this little armadillo... Speaking of riddled, riddles, do you think this little armadillo is speaking to us in riddles? They're making the most cutest little wah noises and just being a little mammal, but honestly, I can't help but feel like they're also telling us the secrets of the universe. Maybe the secrets of the universe aren't for us to know, but was meant for this legendary TikTok user. I mean, how could you not know the secrets of the universe and flip 1, 2, 3, 19? Yeah, 19 pans with eggs in them. Like, holy cow, this is the magnum opus unfurling before our own eyes. I got one more thanks to the crash. Oh, wait. Really? I thought you only did 2 today. I don't think Da Vinci's coming back, boys. I don't think Da Vinci's coming back for us. I don't think Da Vinci's coming back for us. That's okay. I think I got everything recorded. Boop, 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 boy. I don't think Da Vinci's gonna... Da Vinci crashed, okay. And task. I think that was my 4th. Maybe. Let me check. Kiwi Goblin Books, 1. Kiwi Goblin Books, 2. Wait, hold on. I already confused myself. Maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. Wait, no, okay. 3. Wait, hold on. Oh, you're right. Maybe 7 hours ago. Yeah, no, I think you'd be right. No, I think you're right. I think you're right, Kiwi. This one. You might be correct. My neck hurts. My neck, my back, my booty, and my crank. Gaming the system. Fuck yeah. We love gaming the system here. Unless the system is taxes. Wink. Did Miu post anything? I saw a Miu thing. Oh. Oh yeah, Miu posted that her commissions are open. You know where we are. Video editing, Vibe and Shine, 48, dump this one. I believe in you, computer. He starts to roll for fun. Clip operations replace. Replace it with I guess I need to replace it with a game, I guess. Do Core Keeper. I like Core Keeper. I like it when I'm away. You gonna... Okay, cool. File, save, project apps. Valheim. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Everything's okay. I saw my cat's blanket was off and I was like, oh no, the poor baby. And then I fucking kicked my stool. But we're good now. Okay. I think. I don't know. Da Vinci's being really mad. Why would you be angry? None of this should be making you angry. And most of it's pause, so again, I don't understand why it's so mad. I'll just... I don't know why you're so mad. Just don't like all the new drives, huh, buddy? Doesn't like all the new drives. It's scared. It's scared. It's like all these new drives are so scary. Too much new stuff. Can I close this? I don't really know what to do from here. What do I do from here, bruh? I don't really know what to do if I can't finish editing the video. Oh, what I should do though? Oh, I can't do that. Ah! Did I restart my... I did restart my computer before stream. Whatever. I'm like, why is it being so angry? Hold on. Boop. I just want to check something. And another thing. Just want to make sure that no, I'm missing no things. That's all good. DaVinci's gonna not work because it's angry for some reason. Wreck when I'm without you. I need you here to stay. Oh, well, I hope that day I found you crying at the... I was gonna do another edit, but I can't now. I guess I could download the stuff for it. Are there my edit ideas? I hope it's in my edit ideas.